I hope you're doing well, and that you're enjoying the beginnings of your holiday season. And since we're approaching, or possibly even in, depending on your point of view, the holiday season, I figured that now was a good time to do a holiday-themed video. Specifically, a video about 12 different kinds of fabrics that you might want to consider for your holiday outfits for all sorts of events, whatever fun things you're going to have. Parties, just casual, friendly gatherings where you want to be a little bit more festive, things like that. This video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. In this case, I'm not really going to be showing you outfits, I'm going to be showing you fabrics and talking about fabrics that you may not have thought of, but that can be quite dressy in the right circumstances, or that can be made to be more casual for a more casual event as well, but that you would originally think are rather on the dressier side. No reason not to wear them though. It's the holidays. Gotta have fun, if that is your thing. So, let's start with the obvious. The first one is sequins. And I have here a sequin dress. These are just black sequins, so a lot easier to wear than colorful sequins or more iridescent sequins, but even black sequins can be a little bit hard to style because you might assume that they're too dressy for everyday wear. But you can always wear a dress like this for a more casual occasion by pairing it with a cozy cardigan, or even by throwing a cozy knit over it. Or, my personal favorite, a chambray shirt or a plaid shirt. Those two pieces really help to make something dressier a lot more casual, and something that'll work for a more casual, say, get-together with friends or family. If you want to be more casual, that is. If you don't, you could always wear something like that with statement earrings or a pair of fun shoes for your more dressy events. Sequins work for all manner of occasions. Moving on to the next fabric in the list, and it is glitter. Now, this is also a little bit more on the obvious side, but not something that people think of as often as sequins. Sequins are considered a more holiday fabric, and glitter is not something that is worn as often, but something like this, like a glitter dress, can be just as sparkly and just as festive. Now, just like sequins, you can always dress something like this down by wearing it with a cozy big cardigan, or just throwing a knit over this to turn it into sort of skirt. And of course, chambray shirt, plaid shirt, just like for the sequins. And something I should have mentioned for the sequins as well, that a denim jacket works really well to make something like this a lot more casual, as well as a faux leather jacket. Really helps toughen something like this up and makes it work for a more casual setting. And of course, if you are not interested in a casual setting, you can always wear something like this for a more formal event. And if you want to make it more elegant, you can always wear a blazer on top. Or just go for it as is and wear it with a nice pair of shoes, possibly a pair of statement earrings, a nice bracelet, probably not at the same time. But to be honest, you don't even really need accessories to dress up something like this, because it already makes quite a punch. And it's a little bit more unexpected than showing up in sequins. So, we are going down the list of obvious fabrics, and the next one is shimmer fabrics. Not quite sequins, not quite glitter, but still very sparkly, and still makes quite the statement. But again, not something you see as often as you see sequins. And, for example, I have this shimmery pink dress. You can make this more casual for everyday wear in pretty much the same way that you would do with the previous dresses I mentioned. But if you happen to have a slip dress, like this one, then you can always wear something underneath, like a turtleneck. If it's a light colored dress, it can be a light colored turtleneck or even a dark colored turtleneck to pack a bit more of a punch. And a turtleneck layered under something like this makes it a lot more casual. But of course, you can always dress it up for your formal events, make it more elegant with a blazer, like in the previous options, nice pair of shoes. If you want, you could even accessorize with a statement pair of earrings, but the fabric itself still makes enough of a statement where you don't actually need to do that. You can just leave it as is and wear a nice pair of shoes, and you're good to go. The only thing is, for a shorter dress like this, you probably don't want to wear it to a black tie event, but for everything else it's fine. The next fabric type is something that I actually see pretty rarely. Usually people don't think of it when they consider their holiday attire, but I think that it can be just as dressy and quite a bit more fun, to be honest, than everything I've shown you so far. As much as I love all the fabrics I've shown you so far, this next one, and it is beaded fabric. Packs quite a bit of a punch, and it does so without being too sparkly if you're not into sparkles. So if you're not into sequins, shimmer, glitter, anything sparkly like that, then beading is definitely something that you should consider. And of course, it will also help you stand out a bit more, because beading is not something that I see very often on people during holiday events or any dressy events really, but it is quite a dressy fabric. Still catches the light, still sparkly, and I would say that beading is actually a more elegant option than the previous three that I showed. It's up to you what you like more, but this is definitely an option. Something like this, again, can be dressed down in all the ways I mentioned, or just worn on its own. And since beading is more elegant, more luxurious due to all the work that goes into creating something like this, it can be worn, I would say, even for black tie events, even if you do have a shorter dress, which this one is. And of course, if you want to add something fun to it, you can always add statement earrings, a nice ring, bracelet. I should have mentioned this earlier, but the reason I'm not suggesting to dress up all of these dresses with necklaces is because when you have a statement fabric and you add a statement necklace on top, it can be a little bit too much, just because if it's a dress and a statement fabric, it already goes up to your neck and there's already a lot going on there. So it can be a little much unless your necklace is very, very subtle. So the next fabric I'm going to talk about is satin. And for that, I actually have a satin skirt. Now, a satin skirt is a much more casual piece than everything I've been showing so far. If you wanted to go dressier with satin, you could always go for a dress, which is a very elegant option for any event. And if you wanted to make that satin dress more casual, you can just go with everything I mentioned. If it's a slip dress, again, layer a turtleneck underneath, denim jacket, faux leather jacket, or leather if that is what you like, wearing a knit on top to turn it into a skirt, cozy cardigan, all of these things still apply. But if you do happen to have a satin skirt, it works really well for a more casual event. I think that people discount satin a lot of the time because it's not as much of a statement as the previous fabrics that I mentioned, but it's still very shimmery, it still catches the light, and it's very elegant, so it's still great for your holiday events. And you could always wear something like this with a turtleneck to keep yourself nice and warm, or a cozy sweater, again, nice and warm. But the skirt will help to really dress up your outfit quite a bit more. If on the other hand you have a satin top or a satin blouse, you could always wear that with a blazer to make your look more elegant, and possibly with a nice pencil skirt or just regular skirt. Faux leather leggings, that's always an interesting combination and really helps to toughen the look up a bit. Because satin is so elegant, pairing that with leather really creates an interesting contrast. Or satin skirt with a nice cami and a faux leather jacket. The next fabric type, not 100% sure it's a fabric type, but you'll see what I'm talking about. So it is embroidery, and I have to show you a dress with some embroidery on the sleeves. Now, embroidery is something that a lot of people don't think about when they think of dressy fabrics. Again, just because it's not something that you necessarily see when you search for dressy outfits on the internet. But I think that embroidery really helps to dress up a piece and make it a lot more interesting. And yet I think it's a more subtle way to make a statement than, say, sequins. Not that there's anything wrong with sequins, as I mentioned, love sequins, but this is more subtle, possibly more elegant, and it does still make a statement. For example, this dress is just a plain black dress, and there wouldn't have been anything interesting about it, really. It just would have been a little black dress that I would have dressed up with something more interesting in terms of accessories. But the sleeves make it special. And they make it special because of the embroidery. Even such a simple thing, just a little bit of embroidery along the sleeves, I think really helps to dress up a simple dress like this. So don't discount embroidery when you're looking for your holiday pieces, because it really can make quite a statement. And again, depending on what it is you have that is embroidered, it can be a top, it can be a skirt, it can be a dress. You will dress it up in different ways. With a skirt, well, everything I mentioned for the satin skirt would pretty much apply to an embroidered skirt as well. With a top, again, wear a nice blazer, possibly, if you want to dress it down a little bit, a nice cardigan, faux leather, because embroidery is still fairly delicate and has a lot of texture. So the texture of the embroidery and the texture of the faux leather or leather together would make an interesting statement. And of course, if you have a dress, earrings, bracelet, ring, shoes, anything like that. Or possibly, actually, if your embroidery is confined to the lower portion of your dress, you could even get away with a statement necklace, as long as it's not too close to the statement parts of your dress. In this dress, I don't think I would go with a statement necklace, unless I was feeling very, very extra, because the embroidery is so close to the top of the dress and will be very close to the necklace. The next fabric is also something that people tend not to think about when they think about dressy fabrics, and it is lace. And I have, surprise, another dress as an example to show you. This one in a purple lace with some long sleeves. Now, lace is not quite as dressy as the previous things that I showed, but due to the fact that it does have a lot of texture and it can have really interesting patterns and designs to it, and possibly even some sheer elements, which always help to dress a piece up or make it a little bit more interesting, as long as the event that you are going for actually allows such a thing, or as long as it's confined to things like sleeves or the hem of your dress. So again, it doesn't pack quite as big of a statement as the previous fabrics, but due to the elegance and texture of the fabric, it's still quite a dressy fabric, and especially if you wear it as a dress, it can add a lot of elegance to your holiday outfit. And if your lace happens to be a single color, which is the case with most of the lace pieces I've seen, you can always wear something more fun when it comes to your accessories or your shoes, because the fabric itself is more subtle, elegant, and somewhat dressy, but more subtle, so you could really go brighter with your accessories. Like, you could actually wear a statement necklace with something like this, and it wouldn't be too much, despite the fact that the fabric is indeed dressy. Or you could wear a sequin blazer with something like this to dress it up more for your fun holiday parties. My point is, you could let your accessories make much more of a statement with something like this. The next fabric is again something that I think people don't often think about when it comes to holiday fabrics, but I really like it, and it's gotten a lot more popular in the last few years and then kind of went down a bit more, and I'm talking about velvet. The example I have to show you is this red velvet dress right here. When it comes to velvet, again, it's a fabric that really catches the light, and this is something that is a benefit for me personally, but might not be important to you, it's actually warm. That is really important for me over the winter, and since the holidays are during the winter, I really like to cozy up in my nice velvet pieces, like velvet dresses. I've seen long velvet dresses, which would be perfect for black tie events, if you have something like that, or shorter ones like this, which would be great for your more casual parties. And a lot of the time, I've noticed that velvet dresses actually come with long sleeves. So, if you are someone who tends to get cold a lot, like me, this is perfect. Something like this will actually keep you quite warm, and you will still look great and very festive. And of course, if you pick something in a bright color like red, that works perfectly for the holidays. You could always go for something more subtle, like black velvet or white or champagne velvet. Looks very, very elegant. And of course, you could always have a velvet skirt or a velvet top. And for all of these situations, all the previous tips that I mentioned for, say, the satin dress, satin skirt, and satin top would work for all of these pieces just as well. Alright, we're getting closer to the end, and the next fabric I'm going to talk about is metallics. And the example I have to show you is this long silver skirt. Now, metallic is arguably more dressy than velvet and lace, for example, I would say it's somewhere along the range of shimmer or glitter, maybe less dressy than sequins. But metallics are not something you see as commonly as you see the fabrics that I previously mentioned, so I thought it was worthwhile to talk about it here. Again, it does make quite a statement, so it's something that you should definitely consider if you are thinking about your holiday fabrics and you don't want to go for the previously mentioned sequins, glitter, shimmer, etc. And again, you could always go for a metallic dress, but that would pack quite a statement and you probably want to go very subtle on your jewelry. Or you could go for a metallic skirt, like this, and pair it with the same sort of things that you could pair with a sequin skirt, for example. So, cozy knit for a more casual party, but that would still look dressy because of the dressy skirt. Turtleneck, possibly with a statement necklace even, if you want to make quite a statement, but still be casual enough for your more casual parties. Actually, I've even worn graphic tees with a metallic skirt. I've worn them with a sequin skirt as well, but I forgot to mention it there, so I'll mention it now. But I find that a dressy skirt, some like this, really dresses up a piece to the point where even a graphic tee, especially if paired with something more elegant like a blazer, still looks very dressy and looks more unexpected for a holiday event. Definitely not a black tie event or not a cocktail party, something like that. But for a more casual party, you could definitely get away with wearing a statement skirt like this, or a sequin skirt perhaps, a graphic tee, and a blazer, and still be quite dressy, but have a much more unexpected outfit on than if you had just worn a metallic dress, for example. The next fabric is definitely on trend this year, but I've actually always liked to wear it. It's a lot of fun, it's very feminine, and I'm talking about tulle. And the example I have for you is this dress with a nice full tulle skirt. Now, tulle is definitely very feminine, and depending on your particular piece, like for example this one, it's probably not really appropriate for black tie events. Still good for cocktail parties though, and depending on your work, might be good for your work parties. Definitely good for parties with friends or family. And tulle is great if you have a more playful feminine style. And because tulle is such an airy fabric, if you pair it with a cozy knit or a denim jacket or faux leather jacket, something like that, and on top of making you look more casual and appropriate for less formal events, while also keeping you warm if you are wearing a tulle dress, I find that the contrast that it creates with an airy fabric like tulle makes for a very interesting and more unexpected outfit if you are into something like that. So tulle is definitely another fabric to consider. And close to the end, we have something similar to tulle, but not quite tulle, and that is chiffon. Sorry, I'm losing my voice, I've been talking for a while. The example I have to show you is actually this chiffon black dress. It's just a chiffon slip dress. Chiffon, due to the fact that it's quite a delicate material, I find makes this a lot more dressy than it would have been if it had just been a cotton dress. Now, this doesn't make as much of a statement as almost all of the fabrics that I've mentioned so far, but if your style is more elegant and understated, then chiffon is definitely something that you can go for. It's still very delicate and it's certainly still a dressier fabric, so you can't really go wrong with this for a holiday outfit. And of course, since usually chiffon pieces are all one color, you can go brighter with your accessories if you choose. But if the reason you went for chiffon is because your style is more understated, then you probably want to stay away from those as well. And stick to maybe more classic pieces like a pair of delicate earrings or a small bracelet. Or possibly you might want to keep your entire outfit plain, like go for a glittery pair of heels or flats. I don't personally wear heels, but I know a lot of you do, so that's why I keep mentioning them. So yeah, definitely don't discount chiffon. And the final fabric that I'm going to talk about is organza. And I'm not actually sure if the piece I have to show you is in fact organza. I think it is, but not 100% sure. In any case, if it's not organza, then fabric similar to what I'm showing that I don't know the name of. Here we go. It is this multicolored, shimmery, shifty fabric. And I saved this for last because I very rarely see fabric like this, so I thought it was something fun to end on. And it does make quite a statement due to the sparkly, shimmery nature. In this case, I have a skirt, but of course this can come in a dress, and I have seen dresses like this, which are very, very interesting. And I find that something that shifts color as you walk gives your outfit a whole new dimension, if that makes sense. But of course, it also makes quite a statement, so if you're not into that, you can stick to something like satin or lace or the other more elegant options that I mentioned. But I really like something like this, and I think it's an interesting option. I'm not going to go really too much into styling because when it comes to this, you can pretty much style this in the same way that I mentioned you can style metallics. And if you're wearing a dress in a fabric like this for your special events, you would definitely go more subtle with your accessories. And this is it! I've gone over all 12 fabrics. I really hope that you liked this video and that you found it useful, and that it gave you some ideas for your holiday events, whatever they might be. Whether it's being cozy at home and dressing up just for fun, or whether you have a glamorous black tie gala situation. Whatever you are going to do, I hope you have a lot of fun, and that you find the perfect fabric for your style. And at the end of the video, I'm going to introduce myself, since you're still here, so hopefully you liked it. My name is Ekaterina, and on this channel I post a video every Friday related to fashion and style, and nails sometimes. If you like that kind of content, consider subscribing. And if you liked this particular video, please give it a thumbs up. It would really mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Be you, always. Bye!